Hello guys, and welcome to this tutorial where we'll be making a jacket that's even better than the one you just saw, because I learned a few things while doing it again. So to get started, very simple. Select your character and click on new cloth with the cloth type as top, and let's position the neck where it should be, the chin, the usual setup, the nipple, the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and the pelvis. Remember, for a top, you don't need to set the hip, the knee, or the ankle. Just leave those alone and click on generate top. So for this jacket, you can now use these circles to set the shape of the jacket. So let's say the shoulder or the arm should be about this big, which is okay, and the length of the sleeve should be about this far. In this tutorial, I'm going to be also show you like the new features that I've added to make your workflow even easier. The size of the neck, you can set how big you want that to be, and the length of this guy and the width, you can just scale the circles how you want them to be. I think that's fine, and once you're done, you can click on generate top, and that's fine. So the steps we're going to take for this tutorial are, first of all, the shape of the cloth, followed by the hoodie, which we'll add, and then we'll sort out the physics of the cloth, and then we can now add all the accessories, which I can't wait to show you. Okay, so to get the shape of the hoodie, you want to first, let's cuff this sleeve. So select it, go into edit mode, and you can, okay, let's first of all set the shape of the cloth. So let's sculpt this place, go into sculpt mode and move this forward a little, just to make it smoother. Then over here, we can also pull this out, or you can paint shrink wrap. And remember, if the shrink wrap is not working properly, just come under the shrink wrap modifier and increase the offset. So the scale of the character and the armature affects the shrink wrap strength, so you can just play with it there a little bit. Then here you can see it's not entirely smooth, so you can paint smoothness onto it like that. You can, paint smoothness onto this area. If you paint somewhere by mistake, you can hold control to clean it or erase it. And don't think we need shrink wrap for here. Yeah, so you can also paint shrink wrap onto this area, but now I've seen that you may want to work in edit mode. So in edit mode, you can also select these vertices, and on the shrink wrap, click on this pin, so that will shrink wrap it. You can click on smooth, and that will smoothen it. And of course, we want to pin this area to the character, so you can click on pin, and that way, when your character moves, the cloth moves with it wherever you've pinned. So you can also paint pinning, but you can also go into edit mode and pin, certain points, like here, for instance. Let me just do that. So you can pin this vertex, and it will be pinned like that. Okay, so we just want to finalize the shape of this guy. We want the jacket open, so in edit mode you can select this line, this row, and move it to the left. You can enable orthographic projection and just move it to open it up. And to sharpen these corners, select here and here, sharpen it with Shift E, and drag. In this area as well, sharpen it with Shift E. Alright, there's also another function I've added, which is toggle seams. So you can toggle the seams off and on if you want to see the seams. These are also the lines used for the UV mapping. You may want to add another seam here, so select a row like this and press Ctrl E and mark sharp. Wherever you mark sharp will be a seam. And remember, you can enable the subdivision modifier to make it tighter, and you can increase it even more to make it even tighter. But we'll disable it for now for performance purposes. Alright, so once we're okay with the shape, I'm not fully okay. I'm going to sculpt this and move it closer to the body. And from this view as well, I'll just sculpt it and use the grab brush to just move it down a little. So yeah, this is kind of fine. So once we're satisfied with this shape, there's a new function, add hoodie. So you just click on that, and it will generate a hoodie based on the shape of your character's head. and it will take you into sculpt mode, so you can just adjust the shape of the hoodie. So you might want to smoothen the back area like that. I remember this works for all characters. All the functions here work for all characters. It's not just this one. So depending on the shape of your character, it will generate accordingly. So once the shape of the hoodie is okay, there are two ways you can control this hoodie. So one, if you press play, sorry, when you're done sculpting it, click on bind so that you bind it to the cloth. If not, it will fall on its own like this, kind of broken. So you want to bind that, and you can see the cloth also needs rebinding, so you can click on bind. And yeah, so you can click play, and the first way that the hoodie behaves is it just slides off normally and acts like, you know, a normal hoodie. Sorry, one more thing. Along here you can see this place on the cloth is too tense. It's not allowing the cloth to stretch. So under the cloth settings, I'm going to reduce the tension to, let's say, 2, and the shear to about 2. And let's press play and see how that looks. Okay, so that's better. So that has allowed for some stretching. So yeah, so the first way the hoodie behaves is like this, where it just drops normally. And if the character walks a bit more, it might actually slide off her head. But if you want to lock some areas in place, you can just click on paint and paint pinning. So you can paint the areas you want pinned onto the character. So here will be like a hard red, and then you can paint this area to stay like that. And the hoodie also has its own weight. So you can see now it's stuck in that position. It has its own weight, so you can select the hoodie, come under the cloth settings, and increase the vertex mass to, let's say, 1.5. And then when you press play, it would drop a lot more, like so. So you can increase this to even 2, and press play, and it will drop. So just however you want it to look or behave, you can set the weight accordingly, and it will do so. Okay, so for the jacket now, I think the hoodie is okay. You can also edit this hoodie to look however you want in edit mode. So you can extrude places, like let's say you want this area extruded forward, you can extrude it. You can just like model the whole thing how you would model a normal mesh to get whichever kind of hoodie shape you want exactly. This is just the base one it comes with. So you can select like this row of edges and press Ctrl E K. I'll also create this seams for it, and that's also your hoodie. So however you want it to be, when you're done in edit mode, remember to bind it again. So rebind and press play. And if you want this area stiff as well, you can just paint pinning to control that region a bit more. So yeah, that's it. So I think we are good so far. Now we're going to mess with the physics of the jacket to make it more jackety. You can see it's dropping a bit too easily, so I'm going to reduce the weight of it. You can see it's too silky, let's say. So the vertex mass, I'm going to turn it down to 0.03. So that makes it a bit more stiff. And when you see like these wrinkles like this, you can see this, the simulation just started and it's forming its own wrinkles. That means the weight is a bit too low. So I'm going to pull this up to 0.075 and press play. So you can see they're gone now, but it's still stiffer than it was. Alright, marvelous. So that's better. That's more jackety. Now we're going to do the puffer. I've changed the puffer algorithm completely. Now if you want to puffer an area, you say, okay, let's say we want to do the sleeves. You select the sleeves, press L with your mouse over the sleeve, and if it doesn't select that region, by default the add-on makes it select the UV area, so that section. So you can select this face for instance, this back face for instance. So let's say you want to work on this area, select that and press Shift H. And again, sorry, if it doesn't select, if you select the whole thing, you can limit it from here. So you see this menu down here, UVs, you can hold Shift and deselect it or select it, and that limits what the link selects. So anyway, select that area and press Shift H. And now you're going to select the rings. I'm pressing Shift Alt and clicking to select the rings where you don't want to buffer. So like these loops for instance. So everything here is going to kind of puff, but these rings will not. So when you select them, you can see the puff pressure here. A value that I've seen works, I think is 0.5 maybe. And then click on puff. So when you do that, it puffers that area. And now we get a kind of shape that I find not so sexy, this kind of wavy shape. Whereas you want this area to be tight and then suddenly puffer out here instead of like this. So to solve that, I'm going to edit mode and you're going to add more geometry to this area. Once you add geometry to this guy, the hoodie goes a bit crazy, so just hide it for now because we're going to be working on this guy. You can create a loop cut here, press Ctrl R, cut and drag. And we're just going to add more geometry for it to work with around here. And here as well, and here as well, and this area as well. So now we select those guys. I'm going to add a function that will let you select these guys with one click, so you don't have to reselect where you puffered. Okay, but that'll be the next update. So select these rings we created where we don't have the puffer, and we're going to do that again. So just click on puffer or puff, and it looks a lot better. Sorry, we're going to bind it again. And it looks a lot better. So that's mainly the reason I said it will look better than the video you saw in the beginning of the video. So that's awesome to me. You can now unhide everything else and work on the front faces. Shift H. And let's say we just want this side and this side. So we'll do the same thing, but I'll unhide everything. If we create a cut here, it's kind of going to affect its area here. So I'm going to cut along here like that. Sorry, not that one. We're going to do this one as well. So I'll cut along here, tighten it. And then these guys, I'm just going to press G and G to move them away. To kind of free this area, because we don't want to affect the back, we just want to affect these front regions. So now you can press L to select this guy and press Shift H to hide the rest. And just select these seams here, and the weight of this front face has to be a lot less because this area is free. So if you increase the pressure, it's gonna like fly upwards. So we're gonna turn this down to what I found works is 0.001, I think. I'm gonna save this for now and press puff, and it will create a slight puffer without making the whole thing fly away. Let me just click on bind again, sorry. Yeah. So usually if the pressure is too high, the whole jacket starts flying from here because of the nature of Blender's puffer. Blender's pressure rather. So this I found works. And remember, you can always add enable subdivision here to see how it will look finally. And I think this is pretty beautiful. So we'll disable it for now, we're still working. And lastly, we'll do the back area, and let's say this face here, Shift H, and you can press spacebar or whatever your search button is, come over to edit and search, menu search, and type in boundary. So you can select boundary loop, and that will select all around it like this. Sometimes it selects the middle as well, so you can just deselect those. And then under the pressure, we leave it at 0.1 and click on puff. So it's not entirely necessary for the back actually. I think the back is fine as it is. But another thing I'm excited about is the fact that we're getting away with all this settings, and the simulation actually works very well with the cloth quality set to 10. So this is like the lowest quality steps you can work with cloth in Blender, and the fact that it's working is pretty impressive. So you can see you don't really need to add puffer to the back. I think it's fine, you know, just dropping down so it's not floating or anything. But if you want the quality even better, you can turn this up to 20 or so, but if it works at 10, then that's marvelous. So yeah, we're kind of good to go. Lastly, what I'll do is add extrude this area out so that we have a section we can use for the buttons. So I'll just select this face here, Shift E, 1 minus, and I'll cut along here, Control EK. Now, one last thing to mention is because we extruded it from this guy, it has all the pressure settings from this face. So if you want this place to not have all those pressure functions, select them and hide everything else. Then under the puff, click on this reset. So that will reset all the pressure physics settings for these guys and they'll be fine. So now when we play it, these guys don't have the puffer and all that. Sorry, let's click on bind. Then lastly, for the jacket, we want to kind of stylize. We don't want this place falling off of or sliding off of the character. So you just paint pinning lightly onto this area. So it's not fully pinned. It's not fully pinned and stiff, but it's not going to completely slide off. So when you press play, the pinning kind of keeps that area slightly stiff, but not too stiff and not too fluffy, if you get. And yeah, that's basically it. We've done the shape, we've done the physics, we've done the hoodie, and now we can have fun just adding accessories because the simulation is pretty okay. Yeah, so now we move on to the fun part. I'll bake this cloth, so, and then add it to the video right now actually, so that you can see it so far. So I'll set the end frame to 151, unhide the hoodie and rebind it, and set the end frame to 151, and I'll just let it play till the end. So this is the simulation so far. With those settings, I would remove the seams I added on this point here and make the jacket a bit more solid. But apart from that, I think it's not bad. Maybe reduce the weight of the jacket to make it more stiff. But yeah, not bad. So now, moving on, we're going to add accessories to this guy. I'm also going to remove the... So what you would want to do ideally is move this guy upwards a bit more and then resimulate or something so that this place is not so tight and sharp, and this one as well, and the same for down here. But yeah, now we can add accessories to it, especially now that we've baked it completely. So I will show you how to install the asset library in a separate video, or I'll just plug it into this section if I redo that. But the asset library comes with a few assets. By the time you install it, you just come over here and click on Divine Assets, and you can see accessories, buttons, and materials and pockets. So they're all rather special. You have buttons which you can drag on. So like this one, you could just drag it in place. And in the menu here, whenever you add a Divine accessory, under design, just click on Divine accessory here. So that will set it up and do any kind of functions it needs to do on it. So as you can see now, we can drag it and it snaps onto the cloth, and that just enables the snapping and sets some snapping functions anyway. So you can now duplicate your buttons and add them on like that. I think some shirts come with, or tops come with, one button like this and then one a bit smaller like that. And this is the buttonhole for now. I'll make a better one a bit later, but you can just drag the buttonhole here and that just serves as like a hole for the button. And remember, when you add a Divine object, you can see now it's just normal. You click on Divine accessory and that kind of makes it a more special object. So as you can see, it's stuck onto the cloth. So we'll also duplicate this and add it, you know, along with each button like that. I think this guy needs to move down a little bit more. 1006, so yeah, that's fine. And we can add more accessories like pockets. These pockets, most of these guys, I am not satisfied with them. I don't really like them. They're a bit too bulky, but the good ones I currently use are these ones, this one, this one, and this one. You can try these out. They're okay, but they're not the best for now. So I'm gonna change them or add better ones. This one, for instance, simulates as well. So when you select it, add it, select that, click on Divine Accessory, and it will now register it as a Divine objects. And that's okay. You can click on Bind. And what else do we have? Materials. So this jacket, I have one material here, which I will add. I just search for jacket. That's my jacket material. So I could also add, I have this material I've added here for like areas like here that you have on sweatshirts. So I'm gonna select that area, add a new material, and you can just drag this onto that material here and click assign, so it assigns it to this. So when you view it in edit mode, this is how the material kind of looks. So you can increase the scale here. I've just added simple settings, and you can set the color you want it to be. So I think the farther away it is, of course, it looks better. But for now, I think that's not bad for like that elastic material. This guy can also have this material and this one as well. And there are more accessories like this lace. I'll make this better. It currently doesn't work properly when colliding with the cloth. That's the sad part. But we're onto something great with it. So you can drag accessories like this, click on Divine Accessory, like that, and just drag it onto the cloth. And when you press Bind, it moves along with the cloth. So another update that I've added is you definitely don't want to select all these guys and keep pressing bind on all of them. So all you have to do is select nothing, okay, and click on bind. So that will bind all the divine objects in the scene. So everything that needs to be sorted out, it will sort out for you. So when you press play, you can see all the buttons are done, the pocket is done, the rope is done. And if you have anything like this accessory, this button that you want to add over here, click on Divine Accessory and then press G. I'm gonna add that. You can bind it, and then under the surface deform modifier, you just want to change this from Divine T-shirt to Hoodie. So I'll delete this, and now this will bind to the hoodie. So you can click on bind, and that will bind it. So you can duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that. And each of these guys will need to be rebound because they are new. So you can click on nothing and click on bind. So it takes a moment because it's doing all of them if you click on nothing, but it helps you sort out all the binds in the scene. And that is basically it. So we have, you know, more pockets we can add, like down here. You can add this one, click on Divine Accessory and grab it. You can scale it along the Z-axis to make it poke out more or less, and then click on bind. And what else do we have? We have this buckle, which is also pretty cool. You can add it here. But one thing I've learned with this buckle is it's good if you rotate it downwards first when it starts. It also works, you know, fine by default, and remember to press Divine Accessory, so it sorts it out and makes it how it's supposed to be. Then you can click on bind. Yeah, so apart from the pocket and the buckle, this add-on also tries to keep everything tidy, so it's moved everything into the Divine T-shirt. So the Divine T-shirt kind of, which is a jacket, moves everything with it, so it's trying to keep everything tidy. I'll sort these out as well so that they also are parented to the jacket, and we just keep everything tidy. this buckle as well, I would want this parented to the cloth. So yeah, now when you press play, everything is sorted. You can, some things are slower than others, like you have 3 new simulation things here now. You have this guy, you have this guy, and you have this guy. So you can click on, you can set their end bakes to the scene end frame. That's 151. I'll make this automatic as well. I don't want you fiddling with all this, but you can set the end caches and click on bake wall dynamics, or save it and bake wall dynamics, and I'll show you how it looks in the end and render out the final thing. So we are practically done. Thanks so much for watching. There will be more focus on trousers and other cloth types as I get your feedback in Discord. As a slow-paced tutorial, this has taken about 25 minutes, mainly because I'm also showing you the new features just added along the way. My time doing the whole thing is about 6.5 minutes. I have to always measure time at the end because though DivineCut makes cloth creation easier, while developing I also need to make sure it's all as fast as possible. Once again, let me know whether this tutorial was too fast or too slow. And lastly, quick story. Someone left a really sad review on DivineCut, which unfairly brought it down to 4 stars. He didn't even ask me any questions or anything before posting the 1-star review. I felt so sad because I always try my best and try to respond as fast as possible to anyone that leaves a message or makes an inquiry. So I decided to both rant and take action, and honestly the Divine community surprised me. I sent out an email explaining what happened, and I have now opened a Discord community where we can share our work and ask questions. They felt for me and rushed to leave a bunch of heartfelt reviews which pulled it back to 5 stars, where I'm trying my best to keep it. That explains the surge of reviews yesterday. I guess that's God's way of turning a bad event into something beautiful. Now we're closer. So I want to thank you all so much for the honest reviews. I always say if it's not 5 stars, please let me know what exactly is making that 1 star missing, and I'll try my best to get it solved as soon as possible. It's extremely encouraging knowing that you're all here for this exciting journey. So thanks so much once again, and take care.